Welcome to Chillingham.
A well-known poem by Longfellow begins with the following verse. All houses in which men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors.
In fact, the castle ended up being empty for 49 years. And as soon as they moved out in 1933, local people helped themselves to the level of the roof, so the weather got to work really quickly. So by the time Sir Humphrey Bradford, the current owner, came the owner in 1982, there was virtually no external roof anywhere in the castle, and all the plaster that covered the walls here had mostly kind of rotted, fallen to the floor. That's also happened downstairs, in fact, around most of the times.
You can also go inside.
Oh yeah, let's go inside.
You can go to, we have free access to the dungeon. And from darkness, it says, as I said, dungeon. It says, from darkness.
From darkness.
Yes, the dungeon is dark. Dale's not looking forward to spending any time in there.
No. To
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Is that Rosemary right there?
Well, let's see. Rosemary.
Oh my gosh.
So we just got the word rosemary. Show you rosemary.
It smells wonderful.
Wow. You know what that means? Spirits can see us.
So I just turned on Spirit Talker and it says children here. We have the K2 set up. And we're going to try an EVP. We might just get a bunch of bird chirpings.
We know it's early in the morning.
Maybe they're sleeping in our room.
That's our room up there.
Children here. We live on here. Lie.
It just said everything.
Yeah. Which is weird. So Spirit Talker is acting up for some reason, not sure.
It's never happened before. We've never had that happen before.
The crows are coming.
There is a lot of birds here.
Oh, wow.
Our room is up there with the lights on. The gray apartment.
So we're just reading through the guest book to see if anyone has had paranormal activity in this room, and there's one excerpt that I'm going to read. I've always wanted to stay here and force the family to come too. We have had a wonderful 2 days, including a super ghost tour I didn't sleep at all the first night, as there was some walking on the upper floor once an hour. The wardrobe doors opened in our room on their own on 2 occasions in the 4-poster bedroom. Otherwise, an uneventful stay from that night. The next night, there was lots of walking up and down and scraping between 3 and 4 in the morning. This person said that they felt like they were being watched, and the doors opened and the wardrobe door opened on its own. But they said that they were going to come back. And this person wrote, lovely castle and rooms. There was sounds and an eerie feeling like being watched throughout the night. And they would love to come again. Spooky experience with lots of footsteps and sounds of children. This person said that they had an interesting 2 days at the castle. The first night, one of the ladies said that she felt like the left side of her face was tickled. While she was sleeping, she called it a lovely feeling. On the 2 nights that we had a Ouija session, not overly successful, the following mornings when we got up, all the lights were switched on. We know that we had left the room in total darkness and closed the door. When we all went to bed, none of us came back in the main room during the night. This person said that they heard some unexplained knocks. Around 11 o'clock, we decided to go to bed, and we heard knock, knock, and then it'd be a couple minutes, and then we hear knock, knock. And before I had gone to bed, actually, I'll backtrack. Before I went to bed, I'm like, if there's any spirits in this building, you're not allowed in this room. You can come back tomorrow, but you're not allowed in here while we're sleeping. And so we close the door, shut everything off, we go to bed, and then that's when the knocking started, okay?
Yeah.
So then at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're still awake because there's still knock, knock.
And I'm terrified.
Yes, so out of frustration, I get out of bed, I open the door. I'm like, if you're out here, I'm like, spirits, you can come in, but you're not allowed to bother us while we sleep.
Yeah.
So I shut the door, I locked it, I went back into the bed, I lied down, I thought, oh, it's going to start any minute now. And the knocking was done. There was no more knocking
Yeah, no
at
more
all.
knocking. Not at all.
Over here, this is where we thought we heard the knocking from. Is that the noise we heard?
Kind of. More like that.
So more like a gentle tap. Can you knock like you did last night when we were trying to sleep? Perhaps you can show yourself? Was that you? I think that you're in the other room. I can hear that. What's happening?
It stopped when you came in.
Were you touching this? Can you step away from that, please? Can you just back up so it'll stop for a second? Do you know Sir Humphrey? If you do, can you touch that red button over there? Or the balls near the TV, please? Last night we believed that Spirit kept us awake all night because of knocking. Can you knock for me right now? So last night we went on the ghost walk, and there was a couple that was on the walk with us, and they were staying in the grey room. And so we had started talking to them, and we're like, oh, did you hear any knocking or any sounds at all for the last 3 days that you've been staying in the grey room? And they said, no, we haven't heard anything. It's been completely quiet. So at first we thought it was a ghost knocking on the walls, and then we're like, nah, it can't be a ghost. It's got to be the window. And so now we've talked to this couple who stayed right after us, and there's been no noise with the windows. And so now I'm back to like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and also last night when we were on the tour, he was saying that in the courtyard, he said there's very little wind, and so that's the window that
Was rattling.
or it could have been the window rattling, or it sounded like someone was knocking on the door. I mean, it makes sense to have someone knocking in there,
Right.
Since that's where they found the
bones in the wall.
the bones of the man and the boy in the wall.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the caretaker.
Alright.
And he was saying between where we stay, the grey room, and the pink room, in between there's a gap.
Right,
And
yeah.
that's where they found a man and son buried.
Right, yeah. That room's haunted.
That
Pink
could-
room, yeah.
Yeah,
Except you can't go in there because it's not open to the public.
right.
But they say that's one of the most haunted rooms in the castle,
Well, maybe that's
as well as others.
maybe that's why they were knocking on my door.
Possibly.
It almost looks like there's someone at our window.
Chillingham seems to be home to a lot more than just ghosts.
Lots of birds.
Oh,
Did you get a thing?
yeah.
What'd you get?
A K2 hit. If you touch that, can you please touch it again for me? Went off. Okay, I'm gonna put this down because I don't want anyone to think I'm touching it in any way. If you're here with us, can you touch it again?
What's wrong?
It sounds like there's somebody walking. Nobody's crazy enough to be up this early. You must leave.
You must leave.
Like leave this spot? You must wake up with the carpet on. Hello? So we just entered and we just watched that door there. Did it close or open?
open.
Opening. It sounded like there was somebody in here when we came in.
Casually dressed to
Jesus. Is it just wind?
I think it's wind. It just seems every time I start reading, it goes.
So if a spirit is doing that, can you please push it one way or the other right now? If you're a spirit, push the door. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, one time it did come in.
If you're a spirit, can you come through this doorway? Push it. Not that way. Can you push it the other way, please? Push it this way. Well, it might have been paranormal then, right? Because the door came busting this way,
Yeah, it sure did.
but the wind is coming this way, so the door should only go inwards.
I'm hiding.
Is there somebody here with us? We're currently in the dungeon of Chillingham Castle.
On your way through the narrow passage, check the opening to the right. This is one of many narrow corridors linking all 4 towers from early days when they were freestanding.
So this would have been a corridor.
The latrine chute on the floor leads to a pit where we discovered bones, so we stopped digging for lost treasure. Were these bones the remains of prisoners fool enough to try and escape that way? Was this where they flung a dead enemy? So last night, we went on the ghost tour. And it was very interesting. We learned a lot of history. We went and walked around the
Monk Woods.
The
we
Monk
went in
Woods.
there and looked at the hanging trees.
right? Nothing too much happened. We went through to the Great Hall, and one of the girls that was with us, she was Scottish, and she was sitting at the end of the table, and she got her hair stroked.
Yes. And she blamed it on her boyfriend, and she was so mad at him.
And he was
And
not
it wasn't.
anywhere close. And he was like, I didn't do that. And the funny thing is, when we started the tour, she said,
I want an experience.
I want an experience, and they can go ahead and touch me.
Yeah, she invited it.
And then she got her hair stroked in that chair, and
I don't think she got over that
she was pretty upset about it, like
the whole time.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame her. And so that was interesting. And in that particular room, which we'll show you what that looks like, some of the chairs have actually, like, while people were sitting there and they were doing their ghost tour, some of the chairs have moved out, as in somebody's like
Pulled it out to sit.
and nobody there.
And then at the same time that same ghost tour, things are falling in my hair. That same ghost tour, there was a candle.
Is someone stroking your hair?
Oh. Now that makes me wonder, but we were sitting there and he talked about the chair being pulled, and then he also said the same night a candle flew off the table about 15 feet and landed in the fireplace. They found bones in the chapel in the corner, and often people come and leave small teddy bears for her. And then at the end of the year, Sir Humphrey takes them and brings them and donates them. Lady in white with the basket. Can you come forward? Can you show us yourself?
Am I a ghost?
Yes, I believe you are. You've been seen many times out here.
So there's Chillingham Hat Castle up on the hill. And right now we're on the Monk's Walk. It started over there. And it comes through.
And now we're going to go deep into the forest where it's dark.
It comes through here, which I think is called, well, the Monk's Walk. And along this walk is where the monks would walk.
On the way to pilgrimage to Holy Island.
Yes.
So this area right here in front of the tree, they actually did a little bit of excavation, and after they found like 10 or 12 bones, the owner of the castle, Sir Humphrey, he told them to stop digging and just let it be.
So this is one of the original hanging trees.
Which way should we go? Such nice noises out here.
I know.
Oh, to my left.
To my left, which means that way.
Right.
That way. So this is one of the original hanging trees. It's fallen down, and I forget what kind of tree it is.
I don't think they ever hung them just quickly.
No.
I think they wanted them to suffer, so sometimes they would just have it tight enough that they would just choke to death slowly, or hung them up by their feet or their waist, or put them in the cages.
Oh, right, the cages. I forgot about those.
And we can show you a cage when we go back into the castle about what the cage actually looked like.
This is the Iron Maiden. There's like spikes in there. Oh, I can't see them very good, but there's spikes in there. They would close someone in there. If you were talking, if a woman was talking too much or spreading rumors, their husband would make them wear this.
I did see a ghost episode where that thing actually started to move
Yeah,
during one tour.
yeah. Here's a barrel that has spikes in it. And from what I heard, they would put witches in this barrel and roll you down a hill. If you survived, you were a witch. If you died, you were not. If you were a witch and you lived, they would kill you anyway. Apparently in this room, there was a torturer named John Sage. Who brought all the children into this tower where we're standing, perhaps. And he took all their parents and went into the courtyard and killed all the parents by burning while the children were in here. Then he came up here and slaughtered all the children with an axe. That's the story that I heard.
Can you make your presence known? Can you just confirm that you're here somehow for us? I don't feel as good as I felt last time in this room.
Why?
I don't know, my stomach. Maybe it's I'm eating too many ring-a-lows. That could be. Is somebody here with us? Where are you?
It's flashing.
I'm in the Edward the First room. That's really going off. Look at the beautiful light coming in.
Oh, I just got a cold breeze here.
Did you just come into the room? Are you making me cold? Seriously, come stand here. Oh, maybe it's starting now. Is there anybody in this room?
Okay, so we just got out of the ghost tour that we had. In the final room, we were in the kitchen, which is in the old tower from 1267 or something. That's when it was built. He was just talking to us about a secret room that's under the floor, and just as he was finished, we heard coming from my left, coming from down the stairs, this horrible, like hissing, horrible noise, like a cat. Like,
Do you want me to do my interpretation? Do you want me to do mine?
yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. To my left, which was terrifying, and Mel heard it, and another guy heard it too.
Yeah, another guy heard it.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was, but it was paranormal. Nobody knows where it came from.
And tell the people when it happened. What was he talking about?
He was talking about the torture chamber that is hidden. There's a hidden door to it.
And who specifically?
From John Sage. Did he say John Sage?
He did say John Sage. He was talking about John Sage being the torturer, and that was where he did his doings.
Yeah, and basically, that Sir Humphrey, the owner of the castle, and when he bought it in the 80s, he went down there with his uncle, and when they came back up, he said, "Let this be," or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to touch it. They closed the door, and that was it. And that was the torture chamber. No one knows what's in there. And
now it's kind of hidden.
It's kind of hidden. And just as he was finishing it, that's what that horrible, horrible hissing sound came from that door, or on that side of the room where I was sitting. And so I had to get Palo Santos and smoked myself out.
Yes.
I feel better now, but like I was, like it was almost like my left, is this my left? No, it's my right ear was kind of painful. Like it was like something going in my ear.
Right.
Like a warning. And so now that I've Palo Santos myself, I feel better, but I'm pretty scared. I don't get scared that easily. Like I do, but not really. Because usually I'm behind the camera and I don't get scared about it. But now I'm like, that was paranormal. A well-known poem by Longfellow begins with the following verse. All houses in which men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors.
And the thing
Actually, Mel, you opened the door
I did.
at the front door of our apartment, and I was like thinking to myself,
Well-
now the spirits came in.
I did say that. I said you could come in now,
Yep,
just not in my room.
right.
I invited them in,
Mm-hmm.
and the knocking stopped.
Then the knocking stopped.
Should have did that earlier.
But horridly slippery when wet.
Oh, that's not good for me.
No. We actually met the owner of the castle yesterday. His name is Sir Humphrey Wakefield.
He's 87 years old.
He's 87 years old. We had tea with him. We sat, talked with him. It was wonderful.
He shared memories and he shared stories about the castle and how he restored it because it was pretty much in ruins when he bought it in the 80s.
Right.
And then he's totally made it into something like phenomenal.
Yes. And so we had tea with him yesterday. That was amazing.
Yes. And then today we went on another tour to kind of just take some B-roll. And then we stopped by for cake in the tea room. And he came in again. And then he called us over, actually, to have another conversation. And so he has recommended that we go to
Howick.
Howick. Not on the plan, not on the schedule.
No.
It was supposed to be laundry day. And now it's Howick day.